Hi all. Today we can discuss about de Broglie hypothesis of matter waves. It come under the topic quantum physics. So first we can see what is quantum mechanics. Mechanics is the study of motion of bodies. When we are discussing about the macro bodies, that is the bodies we can observable directly or we can observe through simple instruments like microscope or telescope, we can apply the Newton's laws of motion there. That is, it is Newtonian mechanics, or we can call it as classical mechanics. So classical mechanics explains the behavior of such a macro size bodies, but it fails to explain about the particles of atomic dimensions. That is, when we are discussing about electrons, protons, neutrons, the classical mechanics laws are not hold good there. The classical mechanics fails to explain several phenomena, that is the stability of atom, hydrogen spectra, photoelectric effect, black body radiation. Then the quantum mechanics started in the early 20th century with the Max Planck's hypothesis that you studied in your 12th standard. According to Max Planck hypothesis, light, that is radiation, is not emitted or absorbed continuously. They are coming as some bundle of or packets of energy. These bundles or packets of energy called quanta or photons. And you have studied that this energy of a photon is directly proportional to energy of a photon or quantum, that is directly proportional to frequency of light, and it is equal to h nu, where h is a constant that is known as the Planck's constant. Based on this Max Planck hypothesis, several phenomena in physics was explained successfully. The main one is a photoelectric effect, because photoelectric effect, you know, when light or radiations of suitable frequency incident on certain metals, the electrons are emitted from it. Till that time the theory was Newton's corpuscular theory and Christian Huygens wave theory of light. Based on the Newton's corpuscular theory, the phenomena like reflection, refraction were successfully explained. Then it comes the Christian Huygens wave theory of light. Based on that, the phenomena like interference, diffraction, polarization were explained. But this corpuscular theory or wave theory of light failed to explain this photoelectric effect. How the Einstein explained this photoelectric effect based on Max Planck's hypothesis? When the radiation is incident on the metal surface, the packets of energy are coming, and each packet of energy, that is photon or quantum, that is transferring its energy to one electron, and thereby the electrons are emitted. A wonderful explanation of photoelectric effect by Einstein based on this Max Planck hypothesis got the Nobel Prize in 1921. This is saying that Einstein's first wife, Mileva, also helped him in this work. So she was that much confident about Einstein's work. That's why in 1919, when they divorced, she signed the divorce paper by the clause that when Albert Einstein will get the Nobel Prize, that money only she demanded. Now we can come to the de Broglie hypothesis of matter waves. In 1924, in his PhD work, the French physicist de Broglie suggested that the matter is associated with some waves, and he called it as matter waves or de Broglie waves. He suggested that anything in the nature, we can consider it as two entities, matter or radiation. That is the whatever the material we are seeing around is matter, and we are seeing the light, that is radiation, or heat, that is radiation. So anything in the nature we can classify as two entities, matter and radiation. The radiation has a dual nature that we already seen, particle and wave aspect. Then de Broglie suggested that nature loves symmetry. Nature always exhibit a greater amount of symmetry. Then if the radiation is having a dual nature, that is sometimes it acts as particle or sometimes it acts as wave nature, then why can't the other entity of nature, matter, that can also exhibit this dual nature? He considered it for these atomic particles, that is electrons, protons, neutrons, etc. Then when they are moving, there is a wave associated with this, and he called the wave as these waves as matter waves. Then he called this wave as matter waves. Then or we can call it as de Broglie waves. We can call it as de Broglie waves. Okay. Then he explained that the wavelength of these de Broglie waves or matter waves is inversely proportional to the momentum of the particles. So this de Broglie wavelength is equal to a constant h by p, where h is a constant. That constant is known as the Planck's constant. This value is 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 joule second, and this momentum p is equal to mv, that is m is the mass of the particle and v is the velocity of the particle. You can see the de Broglie wavelength of matter wave expression. If we consider radiation of frequency nu, then the energy related with the photon is, here we can combine two energy equation. One is the energy from Planck's law, another is the energy from Einstein's law. Einstein's law. Okay, what is Planck's law expression? E is equal to h nu. Okay, energy is equal to h nu, and from Einstein's law it is E is equal to mc square. Okay, so if we are equating both these equations, then we can write it as h nu is equal to mc square. Okay, so that is h into, this is nu, frequency. How the frequency is related with the wavelength? We know the expression nu is equal to, frequency nu is equal to c by lambda. Okay, c is the value, c is 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. Lambda is the wavelength. Here it is the wavelength related with the matter waves. Okay, now this nu is replacing by c by lambda, then it is equal to mc square. So c and c will cancel, and we are getting the expression lambda is equal to h by mc. This is the wavelength of radiation. Okay, so lambda is equal to h by mc. So this is the wavelength of radiation. This is the wavelength of radiation. By analogy with the radiation, the wavelength of matter waves is, lambda is equal to, what change will come here? In the case of radiation, the speed is, we are considering the photon. So the speed is c. If we are considering the matter wave, it is the particle there. Okay, it is a particle there. So particle velocity is not equal to the photon velocity. So if we are considering the particle velocity as v, that is c we can replace by v here. So what will be the expression? Lambda is equal to h by mv. Okay, the wavelength of radiation is lambda is equal to h by mc, because here the photon speed is c. So when we are considering about matter waves, the wavelength related with this is lambda is equal to h by mv. What is the v there? V is particle velocity. So particle velocity v. So we can see that if the particle is at rest, can we tell a matter wave is associated with this? No, because if the particle is at a rest, v is equal to 0. If v is equal to 0, lambda becomes infinity. So the de Broglie suggested the matter waves associated with the particle only when it is moving. We can see the expression of de Broglie wavelength. Lambda is equal to h by p, that is equal to h divided by mv. H is the Planck's constant, m is the mass of the particle, v is the velocity of the particle. If the energy is given, we can write this lambda as h divided by root of 2me, because p square is equal to, momentum square is equal to 2me. You can calculate this with the formula E is equal to half mv square, and p is equal to mv. You can see that p square equal to 2me. So the p can replace by root of 2me. If the energy is given while doing the numericals, we can directly use this formula. Lambda is equal to h by root of 2me. If we are considering about a charge that is accelerated through a potential v, a charge accelerated through potential v, then what is the energy related with this? That is, then the energy is E is equal to charge into potential, that is E is equal to QV. So we can replace this by the formula lambda is equal to H by root of 2m QV, where Q is the charge of the particle. If we are considering about the electron, Q is equal to 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 19 coulomb, and then V is the potential we applied there. So lambda is equal to H divided by root of 2m QV. For electron, most of the problems they are asking about electrons, then we can substitute the H as 6.62 into 10 raised to minus 34, M as 9.1 into 10 raised to minus 31, Q as 1.6 into 10 raised to minus 9. Then we can directly use this formula also, root of 150 divided by V Armstrong. Or it is equal to 12.27 divided by root V Armstrong. Okay. If in the numericals the particle is electron, that is accelerated by a some potential, then we can apply directly this formula lambda is equal to root of 150 by V Armstrong or 12.27 by root V Armstrong. If we consider the particles in thermal equilibrium, then de Broglie wavelength in thermal equilibrium, if we are considering the particles at thermal equilibrium at a temperature, okay, suppose temperature is equal to T, okay, thermal equilibrium temperature is T, then lambda is equal to H divided by root of 2m, where this E is equal to 3 by 2 kT. 3 is the degree of freedom. Then energy is equal to 3 by 2 kT. So we can write here energy as 3 by 2 kT. Then we are getting the expression H divided by root of 3m. The 2 will cancel. M kT. If in the problem they are asking about a particle is at thermal equilibrium at this temperature, then we can directly use this formula lambda is equal to H by root of 3m kT. See this question. Find de Broglie wavelength of an electron accelerated through a potential difference of 182 volt. And the B part is a 1 kilogram object moving with a speed 1 meter per second. Comparing the results, explain why the wave nature of matter is not apparent in daily observations. So we can do the A part. Find de Broglie wavelength of an electron. Which particle is there? Electron. It is accelerated through a potential difference of 182 volt. So V is equal to 182 volt. Okay. Then what is the de Broglie wavelength? When an electron is accelerated by a potential V, then we can write the formula lambda is equal to H by root of 2m. Energy is QV. Okay. Since it is electron, we can use directly the formula root of 150 divided by V Armstrong, that is root of 150 divided by, what is V there? 182 Armstrong. Okay, so on calculating this, we will get 0.91 Armstrong there. Okay, so in the B part, the question is a 1 kilogram object, that is M equal to 1 kilogram, then moving with a speed of 1 meter per second. So V is equal to 1 meter per second. Then compare the result. Okay, so what is the de Broglie wavelength here? Lambda is equal to H by mass and velocity given. So we can directly use the formula lambda is equal to H by P, that is H by mv, that is 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34. H value 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 divided by mass is 1 kilogram into velocity is also 1. So we are getting this the same value, that is 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 meter. So what is the de Broglie wavelength there? 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34 meter. Now compare both the result. Okay, and why this wave nature in the second case, that is object of mass 1 kilogram moving with 1 meter per second, we cannot see, observe the wave nature there. So see this, in the first case the electron is accelerated by a potential of 182 volt. The wavelength we obtained is 0.91 Armstrong. What is the size of an electron? The electron radius, if we consider the electron radius, is of the order of 10 raised to minus 15 meter. Okay, electron radius is the so of the order of 10 raised to 15 meter. So what is the de Broglie wavelength obtained here? 0.91 angstrom, that is 10 raised to minus 10 meter. So see this de Broglie wavelength obtained for electron when it is accelerated by 182 volt is almost 10 raised to 5 times larger than the radius, that is 10 raised to 5 times larger than the size of this particle. So here it is 10 raised to 5 times larger. Okay, now the de Broglie wavelength we obtained for the mass of size 1 kilogram when it is moving with 1 meter per second is 6.626 into 10 raised to minus 34. See how small it is. Can we compare this de Broglie wavelength of this 1 kilogram mass with the size of that body? No. So in our daily life, the matter waves is not observable in our surroundings because the wavelength of that waves are negligible, not apparent. Okay. Now we can see the properties of matter waves. So we seen that the matter wavelength lambda is equal to h by p, that is equal to h by mv. Okay. So first properties, matter waves are produced by motion of particles. It is independent of charge. It is neither electromagnetic nor mechanical. That is, if the particle is at a rest, if there is no motion, we cannot say that the waves are associated with that particle. That is, matter waves are not there. So the first property is matter waves are produced by motion of particles and it is independent of charge. It is neither electromagnetic nor mechanical. The matter waves are not electromagnetic, not mechanical wave or acoustic wave like that. The second one, they can travel through vacuum. That means it do not require a material medium for their propagation. Third is, smaller the velocity, longer the wavelength. That is, lambda is equal to h by mv. That is, we can see that lambda is inversely proportional to the velocity of the particle. So, if the particle is moving with a smaller velocity, then longer will be the wavelength. And also, we can see that lambda is inversely proportional to the mass of the particle. So, the mass is small, then the wavelength will be long. That is, lighter the particle, longer the wavelength. For the fifth property is the velocity of matter wave depends on velocity of particle. It is not a constant quantity. It is not a constant quantity. In the case of radiation, the velocity is constant because in the case of radiation, we are considering the particle aspect there as photon. Photon is moving with a speed c. So there the velocity is a constant c. But here, in the case of matter waves, the velocity of the wave depends on the particle velocity. It is not a constant quantity. And the sixth property is the velocity of matter wave greater than the velocity of light. We can see this velocity of matter wave. When a particle is moving, a matter wave is associated with this, and the de Broglie wavelength associated with that matter wave is lambda is equal to h by p. The matter wave is velocity, we can write it as Vp. Matter wave velocity is wave velocity, we can write it as Vp, that is phase velocity. A wave is associated with a velocity that we can call it as phase velocity. Then what will be the phase velocity? Vp is equal to, if nu is the frequency, lambda is the wavelength, that is nu into lambda, frequency nu, wavelength lambda. Now we can write this nu as, we know the formula, E is equal to h nu from Planck's hypothesis. So we can write this nu as E by h. Okay, E by h, and lambda is equal to, what is that? H by p. So h and h will cancel, we will get E divided by p. Okay, now according to this Einstein's relation, E is equal to mc square, and the particle is moving with a momentum p. Then what is the momentum there? mv. So m and m will cancel. So we are getting the wave velocity vp as c square divided by v. Okay, here this v is the particle velocity. What is this v? V is the particle velocity. Okay, what is this Vp? Vp is the wave velocity, that is the matter wave velocity. So we got the expression matter wave velocity is equal to c square divided by v. that is c is a constant 3 into 10 raised to 8 meter per second. So the wave velocity depends on the particle velocity. That is our fifth property. The velocity of matter wave depends on the velocity of particle. It is not a constant quantity. According to the particle velocity, the phase velocity will change. Third one, in the sixth property, it is telling that the velocity of matter wave greater than the velocity of light. Is it correct? That is, if this particle velocity, the term in the denominator, that is particle velocity. This particle velocity, we know that it is always less than the speed of light. That is, v is less than c. If v is less than c, what is the meaning? That if v is less than c, then this vp will be greater than c. That is, the velocity of matter wave is greater than the velocity of light. Okay, so if we case the radiation, that is light, it is moving with a speed c. If we consider the wave associated with matter, that matter wave is moving with a speed that is greater than the speed of light. Okay, we can reach the conclusion that this phase velocity also greater than this particle velocity. So it is an unexpected result. If the wave velocity is greater than the particle velocity, that means a wave moves faster than the particle itself. That we can see in the coming videos why it happens and all. Next, they exhibit diffraction phenomena as any other waves. So when de Broglie suggested the matter wave hypothesis, it was experimentally proven by this Davison and Germer by their experiment, in that they are clearly explained the diffraction effect of this electron. Later, G.P. Thomson also explained the wave nature of electrons by his experiment, and in 1937, this Davison and this G.P. Thomson together got the Nobel Prize for the explanation of electrons are waves. The funny thing is that this G.P. Thomson, George Thomson, was the son of J.J. Thomson. You know about J.J. Thomson. He also got the Nobel Prize in 1906 for the explanation that electrons are particles. So father explained the electrons are particles, son explained the electrons are waves. So who was correct, father or son? Both were correct because of the dual nature of matter. Okay, so we can do the numericals on this de Broglie wavelength in our next video. Okay, bye bye.